Chapter 76, The Strange Flying Sword. Liu San jerked his head back. He gnashed his teeth and said, "You really were in spy." Yang Sen's eyes were filled with rage as he looked at Wang Lin. The dark-faced man's pupils shrank. He knew that the method Wang Lin used to get the box wasn't something a mortal could do. The middle-aged scholar was also stunned. He looked at Wang Lin with a complex expression and sighed. Song Xing shouted, "You dare!" Then, he quickly jumped forward and grabbed toward Wang Lin's head. Song Xing's move caused Liu San's group to be confused, but Liu San didn't stop Song Xing. Everyone else also moved out of the way, opening a path to Wang Lin. Wang Lin didn't even raise his head. Instead, he opened the box and saw a very shriveled-up ginseng. This ginseng's body was very small, but it had countless roots. There was a yellow talisman on the ginseng, covering up the spiritual energy inside it. Song Xing had already gotten close. He smiled as he was ready to break Wang Lin's head. Then, his body suddenly quivered as an invisible force stopped him. Song Xing was tossed to the side and didn't get back up. The bizarre scene before them caused everyone to be stunned. Wang Lin didn't tear the talisman off the ginseng, but looked at it for a while. Then, he sighed and said, "You see an old friend and you won't even come out to say hi." With a series of rustling sounds, that cold-looking youth walked out of the forest. There was an invisible force around his body. All of the black-clothed men were pushed to the side as he walked by. In addition, the 3 fireballs floating in the air returned to the youth and circled around him. The moment the black-clothed men saw the youth, they respectfully said, "We greet the boss." The youth didn't even look at Song Xing, who was coughing up blood, but looked at Wang Lin and said, "The person I know couldn't have not changed at all in 10 years. Who exactly are you?" Wang Lin looked at the youth, but didn't say a word. Instead, he took out a yellow paper from his bag of holding. The moment the cold-looking youth saw the paper, he was stunned. He looked at Wang Lin a bit more, then frowned. He said, "Friend, what exactly is this? Friend, please give me that ginseng. It is very important to me." Wang Lin was stunned and looked at the youth in front of him for a while. A doubt appeared in his heart. He spread out his divine sense and found something abnormal in the sky. He coldly smiled in his heart, then threw the ginseng over and said, "Forget it. I got the wrong person." A myriad of complex feelings crossed the youth's eyes. He caught the ginseng and said, "Thank you, farewell." With that, he turned to leave when a dark cloud suddenly appeared. The moment the dark cloud appeared, a gust of wind caused everyone in the mighty escort to take several steps back. The dark cloud quickly moved and descended. As the cloud got lower, a strange gust of wind appeared and became stronger and stronger. A middle-aged man dressed in white stepped onto the gust of wind and descended. The moment he appeared, an escort guard exploded into a mist of blood. Then, several other guards also exploded and turned into mist made of blood. The blood mist moved strangely in the air. They quickly gathered together and formed a shiny drop of blood. The middle-aged man opened his mouth and sucked in. The drop of blood entered his mouth and his face turned red. He said, "Zhang Hu, you met someone you know. Why are you afraid of admitting it?" Zhang Hu's face quickly turned cold and respectfully said, "Teacher, disciple doesn't know this person." Wang Lin's expression remained calm. He sent out his divine sense and was stunned. This middle-aged man had already reached the peak of the 15th layer. The middle-aged man smiled and said to Wang Lin, "Fellow cultivator, do you know my disciple?" Wang Lin's expression didn't change at all. He said, "So what if I know or if I don't know him?" The middle-aged man was stunned. He looked at Wang Lin for a bit, then suddenly smiled. "Makes no difference. Although you're only at the 8th layer, if I drink your blood, it will still increase my cultivation a bit." Zhang Hu's face suddenly changed. He quickly got in front of the middle-aged man and said, "Teacher, this person is my childhood friend. Please spare him." A cold light flashed across the middle-aged man's eyes. He said, "Leave. Go and gather the blood essence of all of the mortals here. You have no business with this matter." Zhang Hu was about to speak when the middle-aged man sneered as he said some words. Zhang Hu's face suddenly became pale, and he started to bleed out of his orifices as large quantities of sweat dripped from his forehead. Wang Lin raised his brow. He activated his attraction technique and grabbed toward the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man's expression changed slightly. He let out a cold snort as he spat out a green light. The green light turned into a flying sword and slashed at the hand. Wang Lin's attraction technique had already reached an unimaginable level. The hand split into two hands. One grabbed Zhang Hu and the other grabbed the flying sword. The small green sword started to vibrate. The light the sword emitted flickered on and off. The middle-aged man's expression suddenly changed, and he threw out a black sword scabbard from his bag of holding. Without a word, he shot out several red lights from his hand. The moment the scabbard appeared, the green sword that was grabbed by the attraction technique suddenly disappeared. When it reappeared, it was next to the scabbard and fused with it. Wang Lin's face looked calm, but his heart was shocked. This was the first time the attraction technique had failed. A cold light flashed across his eyes. He slapped his bag of holding, and several pieces of black wood appeared. The pieces of black wood fused into a whip and quickly flew out. Sidhu Nan's voice appeared in Wang Lin's ears. "Wang Lin, there is something strange about that sword." The moment the flying sword entered the scabbard, it started to emit a buzzing sound as if it was facing a lot of resistance. After sinking in of the way, it was no longer able to go any deeper. The green sword suddenly turned to blue and yanked itself out of the scabbard and slashed at the whip. This whip was something he got from Zhang Quang. When he was in closed-door training, he refined it to belong to him with advice from Sidhu Nan. Wang Lin controlled the whip to go around the flying sword and charge directly at the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man sneered. He ignored the whip and pointed at the flying sword. He muttered a few words, then the flying sword shook and suddenly disappeared. It reappeared in front of the middle-aged man and slashed downwards. The middle-aged man grinned and spat out a drop of golden blood. The drop of golden blood immediately turned into thin threads and entered the flying sword.